Welcome to Greek Verse a Day. Today we are translating Revelation 2:11. As always, you should be working from your Reader's Edition. We'll read twice over and then jump into our translation here. Ha ekon us akusato ti ta pneuma lege tais ekklesiais. Ha nikon ou me adekathe ek to thanatou to deuterou. One more time, a little bit faster this go round. Ha ekon us akusato ti ta pneuma lege tais ekklesiais. Ha nikon ou me adekathe ek to thanatou to deuterou. All right, at this point, you can go ahead and pause the video, take a look at your Reader's Edition of the Greek New Testament, and see what you can make by way of a translation here. All right, we have seen this structure before, and we're going to see it again in Revelation. There's a way in which Revelation is sort of very repetitive and circular in the things that it does things, often recalling grammatical structures and words, and sort of sometimes altering them in slight and nuanced ways. So that's what we have going on here. This command to hear. So our main verb in the sentence is going to be this imperative right here. So this is going to be an aorist active imperative, third person singular from akuo. So here. And the command then, since it's an imperative mood, and imperative is the mood of command, the command is given to the subject that is in the nominative case. And in this case, the nominative subject is a substantival participle. So ekon right here is a participle with the definite article right before it, making it into a substantive. So the one having, and what they have, the object of the participle is us. This is the word for ears. Kind of looks like a relative pronoun, but it's not a relative pronoun. Notice the smooth breathing mark here. Remember, with relative pronouns, we will expect a rough breathing mark. Remember, rough, relative, rough, relative. We don't have that here. So the one having ears, let that one hear. And then what that one hears, so the object of this verb is going to be this whole phrase right here. So this T is an interrogative pronoun, which normally we expect to indicate a question, and it sort of does here. So why we have the interrogative pronoun is because there's sort of a question in the background to what John is saying here. What sort of stands behind this is, what is it that the Spirit says to the churches? That question stands behind there, but it's not actually a question as it stands in the sentence. So sort of within this clause, what we have T, ta pneuma, as the subject of this verb, lege, says or is saying, and then tais ekklesiais as the indirect object in the dative case, to the churches. So the one having ears, let that one hear what the Spirit says to the churches. And then we're going to get what the Spirit says to the churches in what follows. So there's a way in which this stuff all refers back to this right here. Ha nikon. So once again, we have this sort of same repeated structure from up here with a nominative, masculine, singular, present, active participle. In this case from nikao, which means to be victorious. So the one who is victorious, ume, so two negative particles right next to each other. In English, we don't really like to have two negatives next to each other. They sort of cancel one another out. But Greek can pile on negative particles to make a strong negation, or what's called an emphatic negation. And so one of the ways that Greek does this is with ume plus the subjunctive following it. And that's exactly what we get here. We also get a parsing note for this word in your Reader's Edition, that it's an aorist passive. So this theta eta is our indication to the passive there. Subjunctive, So we have the lengthened eta here, which the circumflux informs us of. And that's our clue to the subjunctive mood. And the particular use or function of the subjunctive in this case, as I said, is this emphatic negation with the double negative particles. And then adikao is the word for suffer or harm. Let me double check and see what our reader's edition gives us on this one here for what is called the gloss. When you'll hear people call a definition in a lexicon or a dictionary a gloss when it comes to Greek. So our gloss for this word is going to be, or the gloss that is given to us is going to be, where is it? My apologies. I am looking at the wrong verse. That's why. Hurt. So hurt, harm. So emphatic negation, hurt, harm. The one who is victorious will not be harmed. So this is a third person singular, will not be harmed. And then this whole prepositional phrase right here is sort of a little bit ungrammatical. If you remember back to Greek 1, we learned that a passive verb, that the agent of a passive verb is indicated usually with hupa plus the genitive. This is agency of a passive verb. So remember, with a passive verb, the action is happening to the subject. So the subject of the verb is ha nikon, and the not being harmed is happening, or in this case, not happening, to the one who is victorious. Namely the one who sort of stays firm in the face of persecution. And then the one that's doing this verb, we would normally expect to be indicated with hupa plus the genitive, but this is one of those cases where John does something that is not strictly speaking grammatical. So literally by the death, the second one, or by the second death, if we translate this as we should, as an attributive adjective. But this ek is used rather than hupa, but we get the sense that John is saying that this is the thing that will do, or in this case will not do, the harming. So to put it all together, the one who has ears, let them or him or she or her hear what the Spirit says to the churches. The victorious one, or the conquering one, surely shall not be harmed by the second death.